Okay, on this slide here, we're going to see the first digit is, or what color represents the first digit. And if I look at this resistor, I want to find the group of colors that are to the left of the resistor. So by looking at this resistor, you can see the group to the left is these two here, or those three there. All right, where the most left color, in this example green, is the first digit. All right, now let's go over here, and if you look at where it says colors, if you remember back in section 1, I gave you big boys race out young girls, but violet generally wins. And we start from 0, which is black, and we go all the way to white, which is 9. All right, and again, I said earlier, if you don't see that, go back and review part 1. So looking at this again here, the first band of color is green, and what does that represent? That represents 5. The color to the right of that, in this example blue, represents 6. And on a 4-band resistor, the third band is the multiplier, as I show you here. That is yellow, and that represents 10K. All right, so what do we have? We've got 5, which is the first band color. We've got 6, which is blue, and we have a multiplier of 10K. So I can multiply that by 10K. And previously, I've mentioned this, K equals what? K equals 1,000, so I can do this. 5, 6 times 10 times 1,000. What does that equal? 5, 6, 0, 1, 2, 3 zeros, ohms. 560,000 ohms, or 560, because K equals 1,000, I can have 560 K ohms. All right. Again, all I'm doing is looking at the colors. All right, and that color represents a certain number. If it's a 4-band resistor, the first band is the first digit, the second band is the second digit, and then I have a multiplier, and I multiply that out. That's the value of that resistor. Now I've cleaned off the slide, and I want to talk about the tolerance. Now on a 4-band resistor, a 4-band resistor can have 4 tolerances: 10%, 5%, and 2%, which is right here. If you'll notice, the 4th band on a 4-band resistor right here is the tolerance band. So if I have a 4-band resistor, or a resistor that's represented by 4 bands of color, I can have a 2, 5, or 10%. So the 4th band can either be red, gold, or silver. All right. Now, the posted value, or the colors that represent the value of our resistor that we're explaining right now, is right here. 560 ohms, 560 K ohms, plus or minus 5%. All right. That plus or minus 5% is an upper limit, and I'm going to abbreviate that UL, and a lower limit. All right. So that resistor can go 560 K ohms, 5% above, and 560 k ohms 5% below. And I'm going to show you how to get that. I've got a blank slide coming up. We're going to go that. I'm going to go through the derivation on that. So let's go over there now. Okay, the value of my resistor, as we know, is 560 k ohms, or 560,000 ohms, all right, plus or minus 5%. So what do we need to do first? First, we need to find 5%. 5% of what? Of the value of R. All right, so how do we do that? Well, we take the 5% and we change that into a decimal. How do we do that? Well, if I've got 5%, what do I need to do? I need to move the decimal 2 places to the left. All right, so when I move the decimal 2 places to the left, I get 0 dot, and it's very hard for me to show the 0. Like I said, I'm buying a new tablet for this, so bear with me. 0 dot, and my dot's right there, or my decimal point's right there if we don't see it, 0.05. All right? All right, so now let's clear the slide. So what I've done now here is taken 560,000 ohms. I multiplied it by 5%, but here's my decimal equivalent, 0.05. And when I do the math, I come up with 28,000 ohms. So now, if you look, I got 560,000 ohms. And before we said plus or minus 5%, well, right now we know that that's plus or minus 28,000 ohms. And let me get the ohm signs here. All right, so now I need to find my upper limit, UL. So my upper limit equals 560,000 plus 28,000 ohms. And we'll do the math and fill in the numbers in a minute. And my lower limit equals 560,000 ohms. Keep forgetting the ohm sign here. Minus 28,000 ohms. And that's going to be my lower limit. So let's see what it is. And all I do is subtract 28,000 from 560 for my lower limit, and for my upper limit, I add 28,000 ohms. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so here we have 560,000 ohms plus 28,000 ohms. That's my upper limit, because when I did the calculations, 560,000 ohms plus or minus 28,000 right here, what I show you right there. All right, so my upper limit would be 588 k ohm, because I take 560 and I add 28,000 to it, and my lower limit is going to be 532,000 ohms, or 532 k ohms right there. So I have an upper limit and a lower limit. Again, my upper limit we'll use right here. My upper limit is 588 k ohms. My lower limit is 532 k ohms. So when I measure this resistor with a meter, some sort of meter, if the resistor has a value between 588 k ohms to a lower limit of 532 k ohms, that resistor is good because it's in plus or minus 5%. Okay, let's look at another one. And I've typed this one out for you. All right, we have our resistor right here. And we look for the body of colors that's closest to the left. Here they are. And those colors are brown, black, red. So now if I look, the first digit is brown. If I look at my band 1, right there it's brown. That represents 1. The second digit is black, band 2 right here. That represents 0. There it is right there. And my third band, which is my multiplier, is red, which is right here, and that represents 100. My tolerance band, which is the fourth band here, which is silver, and that tolerance band is plus or minus 10%. So now I just go through the math. The first significant digit is 1, the second is 10, and my multiplier is 100, so I do 10 times 100, that equals 1,000 ohms. My tolerance is plus or minus 10%. Okay, and I show you that right here. Okay, first digit brown 1, second digit color black 0, third digit color red is 100, and so I multiply that. The fourth digit tolerance silver plus or minus 10%. So now I take my tolerance, which is 1,000 times 1,000 times 10%. All right, I move my decimal point 2 places to the left, so that gives me a 0.1. All right, so 1,000 times 0.1 is 100. Again, there's my percentage, and here's my decimal equivalent. I've moved the decimal places 2 places to the left. Okay, now my upper limit, the value of my resistor plus 100. My lower limit, 1,000 ohms minus 100 ohms is 900 ohms. So if I measure this resistor, and the low end, it's 900 ohms, to the upper end, which is 1,100 ohms, if I'm within that window, the resistor is good. The only challenge here, if you don't really understand, is we have to take my percentage, my 10% right here, and we have to change it to a decimal, 2 places to the left. Okay, 2 places to the left.